Hey everybody, this is Nathan Lehman at the Ultra Running Company in Charlotte, North Carolina, and we really appreciate you joining us for another shoe review. Today we'll be looking at the Hoka One One Clifton 7. So let's dive right in. First of all, looking at the Hoka from the Ultra Running Company's perspective, this is what we call a low drop comfort cushion road running shoe. What does that mean? Well, it means that it has a low heel to toe offset, and that means that the difference in cushion from the heel to right under the ball of your foot is somewhere between 3 and 6 millimeters of additional cushion under the heel. In the case of the Clifton 7, the height of that cushion, according to Hoka, is 24 millimeters in the front and 29 millimeters in the heel, giving it a 5 millimeter drop or 5 millimeter heel to toe offset. What does that mean? Well, that means that when you come through and land, that there's less cushion under the heel to kind of get in your way and catch there. We really like shoes that have a generally speaking low heel to toe offset, and at the Ultra Running Company we focus on shoes that have about 8 millimeters or less in them. So this is right in the middle for us, kind of a sweet spot with that 5 millimeter drop. Now when we measure this using our tools, we get about 26.5 millimeters under the forefoot and about 32 millimeters under the heel. And one important distinction there is we measure all of our shoes without the insole in it. So if you add that insole back in, that's another 4 millimeters, and that means that this has got about 36 millimeters of cushion under the heel. That's quite a bit. If you look at the original Clifton, the OG Clifton 1, that had 29 millimeters of cushion in the heel, and it was considered a wildly cushioned shoe, well, 7 generations ago. And so what you've got is you're adding even more cushion all the time as they go for that really comfortable, pillowy ride. We think that that's kind of the Hoka signature in this area. They also have some firmer ones, but this is kind of a legacy Hoka. This is what you think of when you think of a Hoka One One. And so having that 36 millimeters of cushion under the heel makes this feel like you have always remembered a Clifton feeling. It's very soft. It's got a rocker on the front, which means it rolls right off. So you can land either on your heel, midfoot, or forefoot and have it roll right off. So depending on your particular style of running, this shoe will give you a comfortable ride throughout. Moving onto the bottom of the shoe, onto the tread, you'll see these black portions. This is kind of their high-wearing carbon rubber. And so they expect that people are either going to land on their heel or kind of on their forefoot. And in those places they've put this high-wear rubber. In the middle, this is really just midsole cushion, and while it's very soft, it doesn't wear real well. So if you may experience some wear on the sides here, in addition to normal wear on the black carbon rubber pieces. This shoe tends to, because they're going for lightweight, they've taken out a lot of pieces of that carbon rubber and really minimized as much as they can. The shoe actually though lasts pretty well at this point. If the industry average is somewhere around 350, 300, 400 miles, this is going to be right in that range for you. There are certainly shoes that last longer than that, and there are definitely some shoes that don't last that long. So you're getting a decent amount of life for this Clifton. On the weight of it, we mentioned before that they'd added a little cushion and compared to the original Hoka Clifton. And what we see in that, it also adds a little weight from what you may remember if you've only run in the first generation of Clifton. This is certainly a more structured shoe than that was. It's got a little more rubber, it's got a little more material everywhere, and so this shoe in a men's size 9 comes in at 8.7 ounces. In a woman's size 7.5 comes in at 7.1 ounces. If you have giant boats for feet like I do and you're wearing a size 13, it's going to come in at about 11.1 ounces. So still very light. Kind of the industry standard is trying to keep it under 10 ounces for a lightweight shoe. This is well under that for the standard. Even when you get up to the size 13s, you're looking at about 11 ounces, and that's pretty darn good. Compare that again to that original Clifton, and you are sacrificing a little bit of weight. By our memory, that was a 7.7 ounce shoe, so this is a full ounce heavier, but still really lightweight for what you're getting with that additional cushion. Moving on to the upper, what you've got on the upper is what we call an engineered mesh. It's actually 2 layers on this shoe, so if you look really closely, you're going to see that it's got a layer on top right here, some holes in it, and a second layer down below. Those 2 layers allow it to really breathe, but still maintain some levels of durability. It's got some strategically placed rubber on it, places where you might kick right here on the toe, hit the sides a little bit. That doesn't really add any structure at this point, but it does add a little bit of durability. Basic lacing system, nothing to really point out or disagree with here. The tongue is, they go back and forth with the Clifton. This is actually a padded tongue, but it's right in the middle amount of padding. It's not over cushioned to really lock your foot in. It's just got a nice give to it, and you can see here it's not super thick. So we think everyone will be pretty happy with that tongue. Moving back, Hoka's made a significant change in the heel of some of their shoes, putting this lip on. They're really excited about it, and they say it allows you to pull your shoe on. Okay, I guess that's never been something that I've struggled with, but for those of you that have struggled pulling on your shoes, you now know that you have this piece that you can just pull on. They've eliminated that kind of round piece on the back. There's also a chance that this eliminates a little bit of pressure on your Achilles. What I find is that it just gives you a different feel for the shoe. So your heel sits down inside this cup. It's got some padding around. It's kind of molded to your heel. And then it has like a gap for the Achilles. So that holds your heel in pretty well without having that piece that comes over. I know some folks have an issue with a traditional shoe biting into the back of their Achilles a little. And this does solve that if that's an issue for you. You should be comfortable on that. I find that at least from a placebo effect, I feel like my heel is moving a little bit more. I do tend to use a little bit of a lock lace on this shoe and others that have this, just to give me that really secure feeling. And when I'm running, I want to be secure in the heel, secure over the midfoot, and then wide open for the toes. So this does a pretty good job of that, and really no complaints there. Just a firmer heel cup than maybe we've been used to in the past with some of the early Cliftons, but not as aggressively structured as some of the heel cups that we saw in maybe a Clifton 4 or 5. So overall good. This is a bit of a marketing thing, and I'm happy to support Hoka in all of their marketing efforts, so we'll just run with that. Last thing, I mentioned I like to be nice and wide open in the toe box, and the Clifton does come in a wide, which is about 2 millimeters wider throughout, both in the forefoot and in the heel, and so that adds just a little width all the way around. If you have a wide foot, please try that on. We really want you to have generous, lots of room for your toes, and sometimes if you've got a little bit wider foot than the average, that gives you that additional flexibility that you need. Keep in mind though that having a wide shoe also makes the heel a little bit wider, so you might need to use again that lace lock up on top in order to secure your foot in, but we definitely think that's a good option for folks. Interestingly enough, in our testing, the wide in this shoe only weighed about 0.2 of an ounce more, so almost nothing more than the standard shoe. You're really not giving anything up by going with a shoe that fits your toe box properly, so give that a shot. Overall impressions on the Clifton: this is kind of a daily workhorse trainer. It's not going to jump out and shock you with a feeling of speed. If you want to do that, go with a Rincon, go with a Carbon X, go with offers from other companies that offer that speedy feel. But it's not going to weigh you down like some of these really cushioned shoes, both from Hoka and from other manufacturers, give you that kind of overweight feeling, even if they're not specifically overweight. This feels fresh, it feels lightweight on your feet. You can go for miles in it, and it's a lot of fun with that roll that the Hokas have. You're not going to find yourself complaining about going for a run in this. You're going to have a very good time. It's lightweight. We always have one in our closet just for those days where you don't want to have to worry about what you're putting on your feet. So for speed work all the way to your slowest runs, we think it's a really good option. So the Hoka One One Clifton 7 retails retails for $130, which really is a sweet spot for this type of shoe. You're going to get a really decent amount of miles on it. You're going to be comfortable throughout, and that price is not a point of contention for us with this shoe. We think it's a good value. We think it's a comfortable shoe that you can run a long way in and really have a good running experience. So give it a shot. Stop by your local store. If you can't do that, stop by ultrarunningcompany.com. We'd love to have you there. And please leave messages in the comment section if you have any questions or would like to know additional information on the Clifton. We're happy to answer. Subscribe to our channel and learn to love to run.